Ever pondered why Jesus chose to enter Jerusalem on a donkey's colt? A week before his death, Jesus made a significant decision. He rode into Jerusalem not on a horse, a symbol of war and power, but on a donkey's colt, a symbol of peace and humility. This wasn't just a random choice, it was a fulfillment of an ancient prophecy. In the Old Testament book of Zechariah chapter 9 verse 9, we find these words, "Rejoice greatly, daughter Zion, shout, daughter Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you righteous and victorious, lowly and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey." Jesus deliberately chose a donkey's colt to demonstrate his kingship, not of earthly power, but of peace and salvation. This was the context of his triumphal entry into Jerusalem. A humble donkey's colt became the chariot of the Messiah as foretold by Zechariah. What transpired on that day and what did it signify? As Jesus made his way into Jerusalem, the crowds hailed him as the long-awaited Messiah. They spread their cloaks and palm branches on his path, a gesture of deep respect and adoration, reminiscent of a royal procession. Now imagine Jesus not on a war horse as kings often were, but on a donkey's colt. This symbolizes humility and meekness, characteristics that embody Jesus' kingship. The palm branches, on the other hand, have a dual symbolism. They represent victory, yes, but also the Jewish festival of Sukkot, where they were used in celebrations. And the cloaks? They were symbols of royalty, a way for the people to acknowledge Jesus as their king. So, amidst the shouts of hosanna and praise, a scene of profound symbolism unfolded. In the midst of shouts of hosanna and praise, the King of peace and salvation made his entry. What does the triumphal entry mean for us today? The triumphal entry is more than just a historical event. It's a beacon of hope and a testament to the fulfillment of age-old prophecies. It symbolizes Jesus' kingship, not in the mold of worldly rulers, but as the King of peace and salvation. This was a moment of immense joy for those who followed him, as they witnessed prophecies unfolding before their eyes. But it doesn't stop there. The triumphal entry is also a reflection of Jesus' humility and service. Riding on a donkey's colt, an animal associated with peace, he presented himself not as a conqueror, but as a humble servant. This act invites us to emulate his humility and dedicate ourselves to serving others. So how do we welcome Christ into our lives? By embodying his teachings of love, humility, and service, we can truly hail him as our King, just as the crowd did in Jerusalem. Jesus' triumphal entry invites us to reflect on his kingship and our reception of him in our lives. Where else can we find references to this significant event, you might ask? Well, the triumphal entry is celebrated in the Catholic Church on Palm Sunday, marking the beginning of Holy Week. It's narrated in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, each offering their unique perspective on this significant event. This celebration is not just a historical recollection but a demonstration of the profound significance of Jesus' kingship in the Christian faith. It's not a kingship of power and prestige but one of humility, service, and salvation. The triumphal entry of Jesus into Jerusalem is a reminder of the fulfillment of ancient prophecies and Jesus' role as the Messiah. It's a moment of joy, hope, and a call to welcome Christ into our lives, just as the crowd welcomed him into Jerusalem. The triumphal entry remains a pivotal event in Christianity, reminding us of Jesus' messianic nature and his service to humanity.